Hello. Hello. Noah. First, the frisbee, and then you end on that hit. Come on. There you go, Deborah. You can hold that. Hey guys. Welcome to youth group in the gym. Hey, hey, Braden, can you please stop crying? It echoes in the gym. Please stop. Hey guys, whoa, it's on. All right, hey, how's it going? Everyone have a good week? Did everyone have fun hitting people with volleyballs? Wrong, no one hit anyone with volleyballs. We were not very good, except Sierra. I saw that. Oh yeah, that happened. I was there. I remember that. That was pretty cool. Did anyone get hurt playing the game? Anyone? Did anyone's feelings get hurt playing the game? My feelings were hurt too. Hey, a couple announcements for you. First thing is, don't forget Sunday nights, we're still doing Zoom on, small group on Zoom, 6 o'clock. So join us for that. That's always a good time. Other than that, I guess we have one other announcement that's really sad. But I'm going to follow that up with a really not sad announcement that I don't know what that not sad announcement is yet. But I know by looking at Noah, he'll give me encouragement to think of a non-sad announcement. But the sad announcement is that next Wednesday, there is no youth group. I know. How horrible is that? There's just no, there's parent-teacher conferences here at the school next Wednesday, so there will not be youth group. So we have next Wednesday off. But here's a non-sad announcement that is legitimate. I did not make it up just now. Saturday, October 3rd, there is going to be an event. I gave you a date. I could have said this year. No, it is a district NYI event, so a district youth event. Arizona district, everyone's going to be involved. It is going to be a virtual event, so we don't know exactly what that's going to look like for us. My hope is that we will gather for this virtual event. There will probably, I will say, be food involved, but I don't know the specifics yet, but you will be getting, it'll be on Instagram, and also we'll send out a text so you get all that information as soon as we know what that's going to look like. But we were just given information, and it sounds really cool. So we want to participate with the district as a youth group. So that's going to be not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So we don't have youth group next Wednesday, but next Saturday we will have an event together. So that's not sad, right? Thanks, Noah.
Yeah, you're welcome. The only one I can come up with is that Christmas is a couple months away.
And for our uplifting announcement, Christmas might happen this year, but it's 2020, so it might not, you know. Yeah. Christmas is just going to get postponed. Cool. Hey, we're going to worship together, so let's go ahead and stand up. And Tyler's going to come up and lead us in some worship. But let's pray and prepare our hearts to worship together. Pray with me. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to worship your name. God, be with us in these moments. Help us listen to these songs in such a way and reflect on them in a way that inclines our heart towards you. God, open our hearts to the things you would say for us. We ask this all in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right, let's go ahead and worship. Can everybody hear me okay out there? Check, check. Yeah, everybody can hear me okay? Cool. All right, cool. that steals my breath. In your hands, I'll leave them there. When the wind and waves are coming, you shelter me. Even though I'm in the storm is not in me. 'Cause you're my courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength 'cause I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord, and I will fear no more. Ooh, I will fear no more. Ooh, I will fear no more. Sing no power can come against me, 'cause you have overcome. No darkness can overwhelm me, 'cause you've already won. No power can come against me, 'cause you have overcome. No darkness can overwhelm me, 'cause you've already won. You're my courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength 'cause I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord, and I will fear no more. Ooh, I will fear no more. Ooh, I will fear no more. Amen. See if I can see that a little better. Why are you striving these days? Why are you trying to earn grace? Why are you crying? Let me lift up your face. Just don't turn away. Why are you looking? Why are you looking for love? Why are you searching as if I'm not enough? To where will you go, child? Tell me, where will you run? To where will you run? 'Cause I'll be by your side whenever you fall in the dead of night. Whenever you call and don't fight these hands that are holding you. Yeah, my hands are holding you. Look at these hands. Look at these hands. My side. They swallow the grave of that night when I drank the world's sin so I could carry you in and give you life. I want to give you life, 'cause I'll be by your side whenever you fall in the dead of night. Whenever you call, please don't fight these hands that are holding you. Yeah, my hands are holding here at my side whenever you fall in the dead of night. Whenever you call him, don't fight these hands that are holding you. Yeah, my hands are holding you. 'Cause I love you. I want you to know that I holding here at my side whenever you fall in the dead of night, whenever you call. And please don't fight these hands that are holding you. Yeah, my hands are holding you. And here at my side, my hands are holding you. Yeah, here at my side, my hands are holding you. You called me out of the darkness, and you silenced every lie. No other voice will define me, 'cause I belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. By your blood I've been adopted, and I'm taking on your name. And I need to be reminded that I belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. And the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. No, the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. By your blood. By your blood I've been adopted, and I'm taking on your name. And I need to be reminded that I belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. And the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. No, the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. Time. No, the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. No, the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. So greater are you. Greater are you who's in me than he who's in the world. The words that you have spoken are stronger than the curse. Greater are you who's in me than he who's in the world. The words that you have spoken are stronger than the curse. Greater are you who's in me than he who's in the world. The words that you have spoken are stronger than the curse, and the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. No, the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. So again, no, the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. No, the enemy can't take what I have or change who I am. I belong to you. I belong to you. God, thanks again for just allowing us to come here. Spend a moment in worship with you, God, to have time in fellowship with each other, God. I pray that as Tyler comes to give the word, that we would just open our minds, open our hearts to anything that you might have to say to us tonight, God. Would we be like a sponge to soak up anything that you have, God? And would you just be in us in your name? Amen. You guys can be seated.
Thanks, Tyler, for leading us in worship. Give me a second. Here we go. Sometimes you use an iPad and it doesn't work. So there we go. Cool. I think I just changed the volume of the guitar a lot. So if we use those again, it's gonna blast us out quite a bit. All right. Well, hey, we've been going through this series on wisdom. And we're going to finish that tonight. I think tonight's going to be our last night talking about wisdom, and we're going to move to something else after this. But I wanted to talk about the way we have friends. That's kind of like a weird way to say that, but that's really what I want to get at tonight is our friendships with others. So we started out 2 weeks ago. We talked about wisdom, and I encouraged you to think of wisdom kind of the same way that we think of a marriage relationship. You know, as a husband, I don't make big decisions in our house without first talking to Lydia, my wife. And if I did make those decisions without talking to her first, it would probably create some tension in the home, right? But because we work together and because we want to work at the same goal, we talk, right? I consult her before making big decisions. And I challenge us to think about our relationship with wisdom the same, that before we make big decisions in life, before we really take big steps, we consider wisdom. And we consult wisdom the same way that maybe I would consult my wife. And I challenged us the first week to talk about that. Last week we talked about the way we use phones and technology, right? And I gave us 3 ways. I said I would give 4, but I can only think of 3. 3 ways that you can start a fire with your phone. And we talked about how we can, ways that we can use social media and phones in a way that's not appropriate, in a way that isn't godly, in a way that doesn't promote wisdom. And we talked about ways we can combat that and try and make wiser choices in some of those areas. Well, tonight we're going to talk about friendship, and I have tonight I'm going to give you 6 signs, and I thought of a full 6 signs that you have found the perfect cellmate. That's what we're going to look tonight. So I'm really encouraged to talk about this because I was arrested once. I know. I know before tonight you all thought of me like this, and now you all think of me like this. Let me tell you the story. So it was a cold December day. You guys don't know what those are here in Phoenix. There was snow on the ground. Snow's that white stuff that falls from the sky and sometimes accumulates. And oh, that's right. Yeah. So it was snowy. I was living in Reno at the time. I was in high school. I was that high school kid that got arrested. Here's how it happened. I was walking around after school one day with a couple of my friends from the baseball team. We were walking around town. It was cold. I don't know why we were walking out. It was snowing and whatever. But while we were out, we decided that we would have a snowball fight because, we all play baseball. We like throwing things. So we had a snowball fight. And we wanted to go somewhere that was kind of like, a place you could actually have like a big snowball fight, because maybe if you had a snowball fight, you would just get in like a small little space and no. We were have you seen the movie Elf? The scene where Elf has like all the snowballs and it's like, like that. It was like that. So we went to a parking garage. We went to the top floor of the parking garage, and it was just covered in snow, untouched snow, because the parking garage was closed to vehicles. So it was just untouched snow. And we just went up there and we just had fun. And we started pegging each other with snowballs, and it was a great time. Well, then we got bored. So we decided that we needed a more of a challenge, because hitting each other was easy. So we wanted a greater challenge. So we were up 4 or 5 floors on the parking garage, and our goal was to hit the moving vehicles as they drove down beneath us. Now, if we had paused and consulted wisdom, we would have learned that was not smart. That was not a wise choice. Could have caused an accident. It really could have been really bad. We could have hit a car. They could have freaked out, swerved, caused an accident. You never know what could happen. Luckily, that didn't happen. But what did happen is we challenged each other who could hit the car the first. And I won. I hit this car. I threw this, and it was really hard, because it's cars driving this way, and we're 5 floors up, so we have to time it perfectly so it just meets right there, And I pegged this guy right in the middle of the windshield. He pulls over to the side of the road and looks up and sees us standing there cheering. Have you guys seen Star Wars Episode 1? Yes. The Phantom Menace? You know the scene where they're doing the pod racing, right? Anakin's in the pods, and they have the Tusken Raiders up there shooting them. And then, when they hit someone, they're like, ah, like that. That's how we were, because we hit our vehicle, and we're up there cheering or whatever. And there was this moment where this guy looked up and made eye contact with me, and it was like, uh-oh. So he tries getting into the parking garage, which he couldn't because the gates were all closed. It was closed off. So he called the cops. And the cops showed up, so then we spent the next few minutes trying to get down the parking garage without the cops catching us, and of course it did not work. And we went down the elevator, and when we got to the bottom, the cops, they detained us. And next thing you know, me and my 2 friends were sitting in a detainment cell for throwing a snowball at a car, and we're sitting there thinking, what the heck did we just do? That was not smart. So this message tonight comes from a deep place in my heart. You know the phrase, a good friend will bail you out of jail, but a best friend is sitting beside you in the jail cell. Have you heard that phrase before? I can just tell you, I've lived that life. It doesn't pay off. It doesn't actually give you anything. But that's a common mantra, right? A good friend, you would call and say, hey, I just threw a snowball at a car. I need some help. Come get me. And they'd come pick you up and they'd drive you home. But your best friend is the one sitting there with you. And it seems great, right? It seems like this really great friendship goals, right? But maybe if a friendship is leading you on a path to imprisonment, maybe that's the wrong path. Maybe it's the wrong friendship, and maybe we should consider what we're actually doing with life. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, because in Proverbs 13:20, there's this passage that seems just too good to be true. It says this, walk with the wise and you'll become wise. Surround yourself with fools and you've sealed your own destruction. It seems easy, right? If you want to be wise, just walk with the wise. That's what it says. Walk with the wise and you'll become wise. If you don't want to do things that are wise, then, spend time with fools is the word it uses here. Surround yourself with fools and you've sealed your own destruction. And it sounds so simple, but the people involved in your life will always determine where you're going. I'm convinced of that. I've heard the phrase that goes like this, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So, here are 6 signs that you have found the perfect cellmate. And then really my goal is to spend more time in small groups tonight. So I'm gonna fly right through these, but I have some sheets for you, so when I'm done, we can break off into smaller groups and talk about some of this stuff. So just bear with me for a few minutes. I'm gonna fly through it. All right, number one way that you have found a perfect cellmate. If they think they are wiser than everyone else. Do you have a friend like that who thinks they're just way wiser than everyone else? I don't mean like someone who thinks they're smarter than everyone. Smart and wise are a little bit different. See, smart, we can measure smart. If we wanted to figure out who in here was the smartest at, say, math, we could give a really complicated quiz, and then we would find out that Sage is the smartest one at math. And at that point, she could say, I'm the smartest at math. And that's true, but just because you're smart doesn't mean you are wise. I don't mean people who think they're smarter in an area. I mean by thinking they're wiser than everyone else. What I mean is those friends who think they are the source of wisdom. Like the friends who just think that all wisdom must come from me. There's actually a story in Scripture kind of like this in 1 Kings chapter 12. There was a new king in Israel. His name was Rehoboam. He was the son of Solomon. And Rehoboam, as the new king of Israel, was faced with a particular problem. The Israelites, the people, came knocking on his door, and they said, King, great king, your father Solomon was a harsh master. He worked us to the bone. Please just lighten our yoke. Just cut us some slack, and we'll serve you faithfully for all your years. That's all they asked for, was just give us a little bit less, right? This is the problem that comes to Rehoboam. And Rehoboam says, give me some days to think about it. So he takes some time, and Rehoboam goes to all of his, the wise leaders, the elders of Israel, and he gives them this problem and says, what should I do? And they respond and say, they give this like probably the best piece of wisdom of all. They say, you need to win their hearts if they're ever going to trust you. So lighten their load, and they'll serve you forever. They said, Rehoboam, if you want a solid kingdom, just lighten their load. It'll decrease production, but you're going to win the hearts of the people, and you're going to have a strong kingdom. And Rehoboam goes, okay, all right. Then he goes and consults some of his less wise friends, but these are the types of friends who really thought they were the source of all wisdom. And he goes to them and gives them the same dilemma and says, what should I do? And this was their response. They said, your people need to know that you're in charge. They need to see how powerful you are. You want to be a mighty king. You don't want to be a weak king. You got to be powerful. They need to see it. So tell those people that, this is what they said, tell them Solomon whipped you with whips, but I will beat you with chains. And then double their workload and show them no mercy. So you have these two different ideas, right? The wise advice of cut them some slack and they'll serve you faithfully versus you need to whip these guys in shape. And of course, Rehoboam doesn't go with this way, and he decides to go the harsh route, the less wise route. And here's what happens as a result. The nation of Israel went into a very bloody civil war. The nation was divided, and it would remain that way until eventually it was destroyed. Yeah, kind of like that, yeah. In fact, if it was Kapoof, it would have been better because what happened was pretty bad. But what happened was he chose the advice of the non-wise, the people who thought they were wise, but the people who failed to seek wisdom. And a lot of times we have people in our lives, friends that are like that instead of seeking wisdom, they just think they are wisdom. And those are the friends that we have to be careful about because those friends might land you in a prison cell. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Second way that you know you found a perfect cellmate is if they encourage you to do things that will get you in trouble. Does anyone have a friend like that? Yeah. Yeah, everyone, eyes closed. It was you. No. You know the friends that try to get you to do things, maybe your parents told you specifically not to do something, and then your friends are like, it's not a big deal. Right? Those friends are gonna be a perfect cellmate for you. You know the friends that just have no respect for the authorities in their life, maybe parents, maybe teachers, maybe a boss at work. You know those friends. They're just not trustworthy. You can't trust that they care about you, and those friends aren't going to take you anywhere. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Number 3, you know those friends that you have to be someone different around? You know the friends, like if you were just to like be yourself, they would just judge you and you wouldn't ever feel comfortable? Those friends, I'm telling you, those friends are going to be great cellmates one day. Those friends, that's where that's going to land you. Those friends are great cellmates. There will always be that friend or that crowd of friends who you would never want your parents to meet. You know what I'm talking about? Think of I'm sure you can all think of at least a couple names, right, that come to your mind, like this is a friend of mine from school that if my mom knew I hung out with him, I would be in a lot of trouble. And I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, you'll say this to your parents, just say, Mom, Dad, listen, Jesus was called the friend of sinners. You probably wouldn't like Jesus' friends either. So basically, I'm just being like Jesus. Well, I would not recommend saying that. And here's the biggest reason why. Because when Jesus hung around those people, Jesus caused life transformation. But when we hang around those people, it's much more common that we're going to get dragged down to where they are than it is that we're going to lift them up to where we are. Let's see. I need a volunteer. Okay. Yeah, Braden, come on up. Yeah, this will be good. I need something I can stand on. Did you say stand on a ball? That is not safe. No, we'll break that chair. Bench. Okay. Let's stand on a bench. Okay, here's what's going to happen. All right, come over here with me. I can't take the microphone. That's all right. Come over here. We're going to wait for the live. All right. I am going to stand on the bench. You're not. You're perfectly safe. Okay? I'm going to stand up here. Now, here's what I need you to do. You stand right there. You're going to want to face me for this. I'm not going to jump on you. All right, grab my hand. Okay? And try and pull me down. Ready? Nope, back. All right, that was easy. Okay, now you stand up there. Okay? Now, you try and pull me up. Okay? Go ahead. I have to be on the... Go ahead. You can try. Come on. Can you get me up? Really? I didn't even budge. Here's the point. That's actually exactly how things are for us in life. It is so much easier for you to be dragged down than it is for you to lift people up. No, I'm not like saying we shouldn't like be evangelistic. I'm not saying we shouldn't share share Jesus with people. That's not at all what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is we have to be cautious when we're in those situations because it is so much easier for us to be dragged down than it is for us to lift people up. So when you have those friends like that, you just have to be very careful. If you show me your friends, I can show you your future. Number 4. This is huge. I almost wanted just to end on this one because it's just so important and it's such an easy trap to get into. Number 4 is that they gossip about your other friends. Do you have friends that do that? Are you a friend that does that? Remember, this is important. If they gossip to you, I can guarantee they also gossip about you. That's just a good rule of thumb. If they're willing to say bad things about your friends when you aren't there, what makes you think they are such a person of integrity that they wouldn't say bad things about you when you're not around? So if your friend likes tearing down your other friends in secret, chances are they also tear you down when you're not around. Also, another sign of this is if that friend always knows the bad things other people say about you. Do you have a friend that's like that? That's like, Sage, you would not believe what Noah was saying about you. You would not. He was saying that your shoes smell horrible. And he was telling everybody, but he said not to tell. Like, listen, if I know that, then your question for me should be, well, how come he felt comfortable to gossip to you about that? right? How come he felt like you were someone that he could sit here and say bad things to? Probably because when you're not around, I'm saying to Noah, Noah, you would not believe that Sage can't hit a volleyball for her life. She can't. You know, like, if he's willing to say bad things to me, it's because I'm probably saying bad things to you. So if you have a friend who's gossiping to you about friends, they're probably gossiping about you to friends. Be careful. This type of friendship really probably shouldn't even be called a friendship. It's just so toxic. It's nothing good results from this sort of friendship. It is 100% fake. It sounds harsh, but it really is. If you show me your friends, I will show you your future. So they tell you, this is number 5, they tell you what you want to hear. If you have friends that only ever tell you the things that you want to hear and never the things that you need to hear, chances are they're probably not the type of friend that's going to help you make wise choices. In 1 Kings chapter 22, there's another king. His name's King Ahab, and King Ahab wanted war, right? He just wanted war. If you ever want to read like a book about like just war and violence, just go ahead and read through like 1st and 2nd Kings in the Bible. Very violent. Anyway, in 1 Kings, King Ahab, he wanted war. But the Israelites didn't want war. They didn't want to go to war. They're like, this isn't worth it. We don't want to go fight. So King Ahab, he went and asked 400 prophets. I should say 400 prophets. 400 people that he put into authority that he knew would tell him the things that he wanted to hear. And he asked them, he said, should we go to war? And they all said, oh, king, great king, if you go to war, you will be blessed greatly. If you go to war, you will win. You will conquer nations. You will have great victory if you go to war. So then the Israelites wanted to respond. So the Israelites went to an actual prophet, a prophet of God, one who actually like spoke on behalf of God. And his name's Micaiah. And King Ahab hated Micaiah because Micaiah was actually a real prophet, and he always prophesied bad things for King Ahab. But the funny thing here is King Ahab didn't realize that Micaiah was more of a friend to him than these other prophets, because Micaiah told him the things that he needed to hear, not just the things that he wanted to hear. So the King Ahab was like, asked his 400 prophets. They said, let's go to war. King Micaiah said, don't go to war. If you do, Israel will be destroyed. King Ahab was like, I hate Micaiah. I'm not going to do what he said. I'm going to do what the 400 people said. King Ahab went to war. Israel was destroyed. End of story. Israel went kapoof. There it is. Yeah. It is so difficult to tell our friends the things they need to hear. It is so difficult to say to a friend, it takes a lot of courage to go up to a friend and tell them, like, hey, listen, you're making some decisions right now that are really bad, and they're hurting you and they're hurting the people around you, and I care about you, so that's why I'm bringing this to you. But it takes a lot of courage to go up to people and say that, because you're afraid that maybe if you do, they won't be your friend anymore. But listen, not saying anything is not being a friend to those people. Just telling them what they want to hear is not being a friend to those people. We have to tell people what they need to hear, and sometimes we're the only ones who will say it. So if you have friends that aren't ever willing to tell you what you need to hear, they probably don't have your best in mind. Way number 6, that you know you have found the perfect cellmate. This one's kind of basic, but I guess it really is. It's basic as I say it, but it means a lot personally. Someone who is never there for you, or someone who is only there for you like in good times. 1 Corinthians 12 describes a godly friendship like this. It says, if one suffers, we all suffer. If one celebrates, we all rejoice. So it says, if you're going through a hard time, I'm going to be right there by your side, and we're going to struggle, and we're going to grieve, and we're going to suffer through this together. That's what true friendship is. But a lot of times the friends we have, and maybe sometimes we're the friend that when things get rough, we just step back because we don't want to go through the discomfort of the pain, of the struggle, of the suffering, and we only want to be there for the rejoicing. But listen, we are people of good things and people of hurtful things. And we need friends who are going to be there for us beside it in all of those things. Does that make sense? Maybe you've seen some of these things in your friends. And you might think, like, do I really need to get rid of these friends because of this? Like, yeah, they gossip, but it's only a little, and they probably don't say anything bad about me, so it's really not that bad. And yeah, they encourage me to do some bad things, but it's usually funny anyway, so that's fine. Do I really need to get rid of these friends? I can't actually make you get rid of your friends. It's not in my job description, nor is it in my authority as a human being to tell you that you can't be friends with certain people. But I can say this. Yes, get rid of those friends. You need to be able to grow. You need to be able to run the race. And in Hebrews 12, it talks about faith as a race. And it says, run the race that's been set out before you. And then it tells us to cast off the weight that holds us back. And a lot of times those friends are just weight on us that holds us back. And maybe there's a time when we can take that weight and we can speak life into them. But there's a time when we need to step back and we need to run our race. Your future is just way too important to allow these people to slow you down, to allow these people to take you off course. Remember, we're supposed to run a race. But if you're running the wrong race, then it really doesn't matter how fast you go. And a lot of times when we're hanging out with the wrong group, we're running the wrong race. We might go 100 miles an hour, but if we're not going to the same destination, then all of our effort is for nothing. We need to make sure we're on the right track. We need to make sure we're going the right way. And sometimes that means taking people out of our lives who are taking us the wrong direction. So when I was in high school, I'll end with this, and then we'll go into small groups. When I was in high school, I was not a Christian. When I was in high school, it wasn't until actually after high school that I found God and gave my life to God and started this journey. But when I was in high school, I had some friends that literally we got arrested for throwing snowballs, When I became a Christian out of high school, I knew that just for that season of my life, I needed to stop hanging around those guys. I just knew that I needed time to grow and mature because I wasn't prepared to say no to some of the things they wanted us to do. So I knew that I had to cut those people out of my life. And it hurt. It really did. Because these people, I cared about them and I loved them a lot. But I had to just step back and say, hey, for right now, I just can't put myself in these situations. And that's where I want to challenge you guys tonight. I'm going to give you guys some questions right here. Really, it's just a kind of a recap, and there's really only one question. But I'm going to give you time so you can do that. Here's the question. It's take a look at your friends and ask yourself, is this really what I want for my future? Because if you show me your friends, I can show you your future. The directions they're going is the exact direction you're going to go. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. God, thank you for the opportunity to learn about what it means to be wise in regards to friendship. God, help us make wise decisions when we think about who we're going to spend our time with. God, help us to choose to spend time with people that reflect your image. People who are loving and kind and gracious to everyone. People who are humble and respectful. People who are slow to action and quick to wisdom. God, help us in these moments as we reflect. Help us to consider who it is that you've called us to be and whether or not our current pattern is leading us to what it is you've called us to be. God, we ask this all in your name. Amen. Cool. Here's the instruction. Get with 2 other people, so groups of 3 or 4, okay? 3 or 4, and then send one person from your group right up here to me, and I will give you this piece of paper. And here's what this has. It has all 6 of the things I just talked about. Go through those and think about, do I have a friend like this? Do I have someone in my life that fits this? Am I this type of friend? Spend some time talking about that as a group, and then pray together as a group, and then we will be dismissed. Okay? Ready? Set? Go.